Let's move quickly again from Ghana. A question was sent to us from Ghana. Samuel Odafe is the name of the person. We are sorry for the pronunciation. Samuel should be Samuel. Odafe is what I...
They say Charlie.
Charlie, we received your question. He said, as a scholar under MEX scholarship, I can't get this. Am I allowed, this is where I captured from, am I allowed to work in Japan? And to what extent? Again, will I be receiving some sort of stipend from MEX? I understand the kind of thing he's trying to ask here. If you're free, as a scholar, what I mean as someone who's under scholarship, receiving some money, because we've discussed, you received, the last one you received was really fabulous, and you. So, am I allowed to work in Japan? Did you get this question clearly?
Yeah, I got it, but the question is kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about MEST scholarship,
yes.
Of course, every MEST scholar has a right to work. You can work for 28 hours a week, so you can work.
That's the point. You can work
part-time.
Part-time,
yeah,
28 hours
a week.
And it's on the visa. So
and again, you can, MEST scholarship means you don't have to pay any money, and you also receive stipend every month. I think for PhD now it's about 152,000 or 145. Between 145 and 140 and 152. Then for masters it is 143. And for research students, I think 140.
When you're mentioning these finances, you put them in
the yen,
either yen or dollar. Let's know.
Yen.
So we stop what we're doing now to join.
Yeah.
We start receiving this.
So you can actually work, but there are some scholarships that you are not allowed to work. Okay. For example, we have World Bank scholarship, and what they call ADBS, that's from Asian Development, Asian Development Bank. And these are for people who are already working in their countries, okay? And they come here to work, to study.
To do a research or...
Not just to study, for 2 years or
2 years, okay.
So they are not allowed to work. So for World Bank scholarship, and again, when you talk about MEST, there is also a program under MEST, it is called teachers training. So those ones, I'm sure they are not also allowed to work. So even though it's a MEST program, so we have to. That was why I said you have to be specific when you think about MEST exactly, and then
But so, it's well written in all of their publications, which would I guess online.
Anyone who asks any question, I think. The person probably want to be convinced of what he read. You understand my point? The real answer here right now for Odafe, yes, is there are different, depending on your project and your course, you may be allowed to work and may not be allowed to work. This is the point. But in most cases, a lot of scholarships, so particularly MEXT, allows you to work. They pay you, they put every bill and pay you, and they at the same time, allow you to work for 28 hours
a week.
Which is maybe 4 days.
But when you're on holiday, you can work for more than 28 hours.
Okay.
No, but I think it's a
part-time.
It's an immigration issue, so. It's not that you can't work above 28, but
you pay tax.
You pay tax.
If the money exceeds the limit, I understand.
You pay tax, but you shouldn't.
You shouldn't, exactly.
Because
let us take
visa status.
And when you are going to renew your visa, it could be a problem.
It could be a problem.
Let us take it from this angle again. What if that person, works above that and is caught, or he or she is caught? What happens to that?
Nobody arrests you. You have to pay tax. It indicates you've worked more. But again, your visa states otherwise. So
that's what I'm saying.
You are violating the law. But then again, the implication is that you pay tax. Again, when you want to renew your visa, it could be questioned.
Thank you. So that's the area I want to do, because once you violate anything that is written on a visa, it has consequences. I mean, this is the message I want to send here. So
rarely does it cause a problem, but
It's
never say never, and it should not be you that is the first example.
Example, yes. So you should stick to your visa regulations. Every visa have their rules and regulations guiding them. Yes, okay. Mr. Samuel Odafe, I think you have had them. Prepare yourself and visit us in Japan. Join Nahfconnects family in whatever you're doing. Another question comes from Victor OK, is a Nigerian. Mr. Victor OK says, does MEX scholarship cover all tuitions? Of course, we've answered this anyway, but of course, touch it. Covered all tuitions and expenses. Again, will I be allowed to stay and work in Japan after research? That's another.
You can
be in
a better.
Yeah,
I didn't come with government money, so that's the only thing that gives me free.
I'm aware by law that before we can comes in, I'm aware by law that in those days when you graduate, you need to go back to your country. But I think the law has changed.
yeah.
That if you can find an employer, then you can, stay. So please elaborate on this thing because he wants to know.
Okay.
All this before coming.
The thing is that MEX covers both your flight ticket. The only thing MEX does not cover is the money you pay to get your visa, which is really cheap. But the flight ticket from your country to when you go back will be covered by MEX.
Okay.
And MEX
And
pays,
to where you live.
Yes.
Where you live.
MEX pays money, as I've stated earlier, and again, MEX for PhD students, they give you money for they give you money for stationeries, books and pens and stuff. They pay. Then, as a MEX scholar, you can get a job in Japan. You are not required by law to go back. And by the way, by the time you finish, you are graduating. Most universities can help you get visa that you are looking for job. Particularly in the case of my own university, and I'm sure it's like this all over the country. So if you have, by the time you're about to graduate, you can, if you are applying for any job and you have an interview schedule, you can show to your university, and then they can give you paper to renew your visa, because you are still, there is evidence that you are
looking for
a job.
Okay.
Yeah. So you as a MEX scholar, you are not required to go back. But again, the question is also tricky because if you are coming as a teachers training program, which is organized by MEX, you have to go back because you are a teacher. So when you finish, you must go back to your country immediately.
Yes, it's a part of our initiative because they bring students from Africa, train them, and they go back to Africa to align with Japanese companies to make relationship very, very smooth.
So there are programs organized by MEX targeting private individuals, like people who are coming to study masters or PhD. There are also MEX programs targeting working class people in Africa, in Nigeria, like ADB, Abe Initiative,
yes.
Teachers training. So this is just technical support given to Africa by a Japanese government. So when they train you, you have to go back. But if you are here as just a MEX scholar, you got scholarship to study in Japan, masters, PhD, not Abe Initiative, not teachers training. You are free to stay. You are free not just to stay and move around, but you are free to start working in Japan if you have the opportunity.
I know a lot of MEX scholars who are
are
doing very good in Japanese companies.
No. You see, when people can get job, Dr. Ufot, when people can get job, automatically the company sponsors their visas.
No, I'm talking about before you get that job.
Yes.
When if there is an evidence
that you're looking for a job.
Because when they give you a visa for studying, most of the time, the visa ends at the month where you graduate.
Yes.
So what he was trying to say is, that month when you're about to graduate, you can go to university and say,
no, I got that.
And you're job hunting.
Yes.
Job hunting visa.
How many years will you be job hunting?
No, it won't be more than 6 months. I doubt if they'll give you more than 6 months.
That's where I'm coming.
It depends.
No, that should not even be one that should have to be answered.
Answer this.
It would destroy what we're trying to say.
Exactly. I get
what I took.
We don't want to create depression.
Yes, what I took from what he was trying to say before in terms of the teachers.
The training that was
connected to what we started saying. I think in answer to the first question, where when you spoil that road, they will stop bringing Nigerian teachers.
Exactly.
And you find out that now you start saying, oh, they're more maybe moving towards to the east or to the south. Now, so when you're coming for something, search for. I know some people might be desperate and just want to leave the country, but don't let your desperation become a problem for some other people's future who can come, gain some knowledge, go back and then effect the change that
what I understand here is, of course, after graduation, you start looking for work. And
if after graduation you have no business with the university.
No, I know.
You have to start job hunting.
I know.
About 7 to 8 months before you graduate, and you have to show to the University International Student Center that I am looking for a job. That is before you graduate.
Do you know why I'm hammering on this particular job? Something. A lot of I met with the what do you call it? Abe Initiative organizers. Yes, because we registered to get interns in our company. And I made one statement one day, and one man stood up and said, "Yes, this is right. If Abe Initiative should bring bring scholars from Africa, particularly teacher training, to come and study here, and after that." They don't work in Japan and they go back to Africa. I don't think they've completed the course. That's what I told the initiative directors. It's very, very important that African students must come here after, they finish with their school. They work at least for 1 year to know job ethics of Japan.
More like NYC.
Thank you very much. Before they go back to Africa, because they will go there to learn timekeeping. They go there to learn how serious Japan manufacturing system is. They will go there to learn what it takes. To be very honest, to earn that money they've been paid as a scholarship holder. You understand? So that's
because the money they collect for scholarship. When you start working, you know that you were in heaven.
Are you getting me right?
Then another thing is, you look at it from Japan's perspective. This is a country trying to give support. And when Japan starts absorbing this workforce into their companies, it might be misconstrued, it might be misinterpreted that you are stealing labor. So that is
for my own, I see it as the same training. I don't mean they should absorb everyone
as part of the training.
As part of the training,
but it might be it will be criticized heavily.
It won't.
Let me tell you, one Congolese,
unless the guys want to stay.
Yes, one Congolese lady, Congo DR, couldn't find a job. There are Japanese companies who would want to employ these people as intern to stay, even ordinarily the intern 6 months intern, she couldn't find. And then she has to go back with that. But we want to build a system where Japanese companies who would want to hire these African scholars, you understand me, when they graduate, will now, come into our database to register. And then these African scholars will now go there to source companies that matches what they want. And then they can contact them directly from through there. The people that will pay will only be Japanese companies. And then the students and the scholars will not pay anything to solve the system. So that I want people from Africa, for me particularly, I want students from Africa to
have experience of work.
Yes, before leaving Japan.
ADB is 18 months program. It's an 18-month program.
Okay.
And then you can do internship for 6 months.
I know.
In a Japanese company.
Yes.
So I think that settles it. So keeping you longer than 6 months.
But you know that internship, you may not know. That internship, I've attended Abe Initiative program many times. That internship, sometimes people cannot even find.
That's the problem that should be fixed. Exactly. That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying here. So we discovered that the Abe Initiative doesn't have much companies attached to them that will absorb all the. Remember, Ashinaga is also here. You understand my point? Yeah. And so we want, and there are a lot of companies that require big companies that requires this, but they don't have the access to these things. So my opinion here is, if you come to Japan after studies, struggle to make sure you get a job. We that are here should find the best way to match the students to places they can, do the intern. Let's say
what about the language part? You can work in
Japanese work does not require much language, except you are an expert in that field. Take it or you leave it. They bring you to a factory and then they show you how to operate this machine today. The next 2 days you've started being productive. That's why even someone who did not go to school can excel in Japan.
Yeah, but if you watch Abe Initiative, some of them are civil servants, mainly people who work in ministries in Africa,
Not all of them.
Mainly. Okay, most of them are people. Like Abe Initiative mainly is for working people. People who work in the ministry, civil service. So now the prerequisite training the person should be working in a city hall in Japan to know time management, similar work. And that would require language. Okay, and then taking them to work in a Japanese company, in factory, would be an aberration because, I mean, like, there's no connection.
No, but I think this might be this is a discussion for another day.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Just to chip in something, there are parts even in the I think in Ibaraki, there's some parts in Ibaraki where Anguma, where half of the city office, everything you need is in Portuguese. There are cities like that where you have the Brazilians.
Yes.
And then there's also places in
exactly.
Particularly
right? In Ibaraki.
Right?
Just in
Yes.
Ibaraki.
And then there are also places where the Brazilians have done well for themselves.
They
They
have
have
a community.
construction,
Yeah.
companies, everything, and so.
Yeah.
But in terms of English, there are also places in Tokyo. A few, not that much, but I mean Tokyo metropolitan. You can get some services in English. In Roppongi, you can get SoftBank shop in English.
Yeah.
So how many teachers are they going to bring anyway? So
There are no teachers. I think I have. I'm talking
no,
from.
I mean ministry staff.
Yeah,
I mean
thank you.
how many are they going to bring? So I think to a certain extent, there should be places where they can place them
I agree.
that will be useful.
Yeah, it's important that people do that. Because I know there are people who couldn't even find a place to do the intern before they leave, which is not right.
It's actually difficult. You know, one thing about Japan is everything is just information.
Thank you very much. That is where I chipped in
Information.
finding these companies because I know there are a lot of companies who doesn't even know they can register to avail the safety to be a part, where the government will be paying some part of the program. Yes, I think.
Japan is just information.
We
as much information as you get will be useful to you.
Yes.